Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. Content warnings can be found in the show notes. We talk at our table about safety, comfort, and consent both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same, so listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the Path of Night.
Last time on Path of Night. The coterie met in the VIP lounge to talk objectives. The Black Hand arrived to the rave and joined in their conversation. Britta figured out that Dark Selena was hiding herself within their ranks and informed Pendragon. Neil took issue with this, leading to a disagreement between him and Wynn. Wynn and Weathers danced, spoke of feelings, responsibilities, and politics. The rave continued. Britta, you make your escape to the dance floor.
Britta knows a shield from Neil. And she also said an objective earlier. And that objective is to dance with the coterie. Each member of the coterie. She did promise, or rather request, first dance from Johnny. So effectively she's making a beeline for Johnny and Miles to see if either one of them is going to take her up on their end of the deal. But regardless, just by her body language, it's relatively apparent that her intention is to go on the dance floor and start the process up.
You mingle. There's dancing, a lot of flirting. In one instance, there is a man who recognizes you from the mansion. The one that burned. And he says to you, there's not a lot of us that made it out. He doesn't really dance. He doesn't really seem super sure of himself. And it's kind of like, I'm glad there's other people.
I'm really glad, too. I'm glad that you... It's nice to see someone else and remember that wasn't the end of it.
And he is shoved aside. And two people chant out from a very short distance. And they go, Rufio! And he is shoved aside by what is a man. And this man is wearing very baggy jeans, a vest that is open to reveal his six-pack because there is no shirt under the vest. His hair is spiked, and over his back is a katana. On his chest, there is a tattoo in bold letters, and not quite centered on his chest, the name Rufio. And he is flanked by two men who have cheered his name upon him shoving a Brujah. And you recognize these two men from a gas station long ago. A-Dog and C-Dog.
Oh no, they're Brujah!
Oh no! How far was the guy shoved? Like, is he still in
like 12 feet, doubled over, humiliated.
Wow. I'm gonna go get him up.
He cuts you off. He's like, yo.
Hey.
He meets your eyes, fixes a heated smolder.
I don't think we've met.
You like a Toreador or something?
Yes.
Sick.
I'm gonna go get that guy up.
Why?
And I'm just gonna try to edge around him and see what he does.
A-Dog moves like velociraptors, they corner you. And A-Dog says to you, yo, what up, shorty?
Hi, A-Dog. I think, right?
Yo, you know me.
Well, I think so.
I know you. I sold my car to you.
What is this?
Are you a fucking vampire? He says real loud, like he doesn't really get the masquerade.
Rufio seems to be the guy in charge, so Britta's gonna kind of give him a what the hell look at his minions.
CD boy.
A-Dog, chill out, man. You're making her nervous. Don't worry, I got this, he says to you. A-Dog says, my bad, yo, praise Cain.
Okay, well, it's nice saying hi, but...
Don't worry, girl, he cuts you off, Sea-Dog, while you're trying to, communicate.
Coherently.
And he says, don't worry, yo, we're here in peace. If anyone tries to hurt you, we'll cut that.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna go get that guy up.
Yo, he's gone.
Is he?
Rufio shoved him, he's probably dead.
All right, Rufio. My name's Britta.
I'm Rufio.
Yeah.
He picks things up and puts them down.
Lex, you made yourself laugh.
I'm looking for my friends. You know Johnny's running this rave.
Hey, girl, don't worry. I won't let nothing happen to you. You want to dance? He
At
starts
that
dancing
point,
at you.
a big hand plants on the Rufio tattoo and pushes him out of the way.
Hey, yo!
Sorry, Lollipop Guild, I got the first dance here. And Johnny just cuts in with his back facing them and just starts dancing with Britta away from the three of them.
He goes, who the fuck is this? And as he tries to storm at you, A-Dog and C-Dog actually get your back and they hold him back so that he doesn't hurt you.
Thank God.
Phew! Oh, that was almost a close one.
And
Thank God for steak and bake.
his chest keeps hitting up against their arms. They're like, don't worry, you gotta calm down. You gotta calm down. And Rufio's like, on all the dead villains, I'm gonna get you, Johnny. On all of them. Rufio don't take no shit.
Johnny's going to turn back over his shoulder and go try it, but then give him a dread gaze and flash fangs.
Go for it. You're difficulty 5.
Is that because his courage is 5?
No.
Okay.
His courage is 4.
3 successes.
I think that's where they run.
Rufio turns and flees, and A-Dog looks at you, Johnny. He's like, you're the host, man. I don't want to make you worry, but this guy's kind of dangerous. He's probably getting his gun right now. And they kind of look worrisome over in the direction. Sea-Dog speaks up and he's like, look, we're going to go talk to our side and make sure that he doesn't want to go after you or nothing.
Johnny kind of dances for a second with Britta, then turns back. You two seem cool enough, alright? You got my permission to stay here, but if you go chasing after that dweeb, Johnny just kind of shakes his head and keeps on dancing.
Alright, they're going to have to roll against their vinculums. Batch.
Oh, no.
Okay. A-Dog gives you a panicked look and runs to chase after his sire. Sea-Dog gives another panicked look, first because of his sire and then because of his best friend and broodmate. And he looks at you and he's like, I'm gonna chill here, I'm gonna let A-Dog see to it. They got a promise thing going on. They gotta look after each other no matter what. But I'm gonna try to keep it cool.
Johnny kind of nods at him. I can respect that.
He looks to Britta, that dresses fat. And then he saunters away.
So, as Johnny returns and is willing and actually, maybe out of spite, but Britta knows she's got him here for the dance that she requested. So, what she's gonna do is, I want to use my dancing skill to make Johnny look as cool as possible. I want to make him the guy that anyone who wants to dance with anyone wants to dance with. I want to make him look great.
Give me a dexterity plus performance roll. Remember, Toreador, your celerity adds to all dex rolls.
Does graceful apply?
It sure does. Are you spending willpower?
Got so few.
But it's also dancing, so I figured I'd check.
I was thinking about it in case that didn't come through. No.
It's like exalted levels of dice.
Difficulty?
6.
Surprisingly, that's only 4 successes, but it is 4 successes.
Okay, so you casually roll super well. Describe the dance.
So, Britta's own style of dancing tends to be more feminine and sensual, but that's not really the focus for this moment. There's very few moments where she is focusing on how she is coming across, because the entire purpose in this moment is making Johnny the guy. So hopefully, if he's kind of willing to go along with this, and she's trying to make it fun for him and trying to kind of demonstrate her intention, but in that kind of quiet way that friends can share communication, almost in that way of making her affection for him and how cool she knows him to be come through in the ways that she can try to get him to move, kind of teach him and lead him, or just move him herself, and to make him look like he's the one taking the lead at certain points, that he's the one who can kind of have that swagger to him, or the one who has, I want to take the things that I know about Johnny and kind of the energy that he's brought with his persona and his outfit and everything. I want to amp it up.
So, in essence, you are going to draw attention to his chest and biceps.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
She just whips out the baby lotion.
I think
Take the crowd to the
Johnny
show.
catches on to what she's doing and kind of realizes that he's really too stiff on the dance floor to really do anything impressive in terms of footwork or anything. So instead, he tries to keep up with the beat and how she's moving, and kind of just will switch between different kind of strong poses and will give her support to do fancy moves. So she's doing all of the fancy dancing, and he is just being kind of a commanding pose next to her, trying to look like he's the one directing this incredible dancing around him as this really strong dance partner.
Britta will do the technical work, the flirtation, the energy with the crowd, any of that, and make Johnny the cool guy that he is.
Well, you successfully make him the cool guy. Johnny, for the rest of the rave, you will receive a number of bonus dice on your social rolls equal to half of Britta's successes. So you will enjoy a +2 die bonus to your social rolls for the rest of the rave.
By the way, did my status affect the social rolls as well?
If they are Camarilla, yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
When the dance is done, Britta will thank Johnny for the dance and look to pick out more targets.
He gives you kind of a half smile and is like, thank me for the dance. Thank you, kid. How the hell you managed to make me look all right out here? Some mysteries will never be known.
I didn't point out anything that wasn't true.
Yeah. He pats you on the back. If those goons give any more trouble, though.
Yeah, they're probably going to.
Oh. If you see him back in the club, you let me know.
Will do.
Neil, you've been skulking around this rave for a little while. Where are you? What are you doing?
Neil is one of the least comfortable times that he's ever been in his life. But instead of just doing the full wallflower, he's doing that thing where you're anonymous in the middle of a crowd. Things are so crowded that nobody's really looking at you, and he's just sort of weaving his way between all the people, deep inside his own thoughts, kind of looking out for Jane, because he was he doesn't really know what to do right now, and was okay, I'm supposed to follow her lead. Kind of looking out for Sabat and the people that they're all supposed to stay away from, kind of looking for the rest of his coterie, looking for the patterns in the room, and some small part of him in the back of his head is also kind of looking for... This is a Brujah Rave, and there's sort of a self-preserving part of him that is also kind of on the lookout for the woman that his sire left torpid in a shower last time. He's not actively looking for her, there's just a small part of his brain that's on the alert for danger. And that's what he's doing. He's just kind of wending his way through the crowd, looking out for people and trying to get a sense of... There's a moment in any big crowd where it turns from a party into a riot, and he's hypersensitive, hyper-vigilant to that feeling right now. Trying to relax, but not doing a very good job of it.
As you're creeping through the crowd, minding your own business, you feel an urge, a need for fresh air. And you turn, and you skulk your way to the entrance, and you step outside where there is a crowd of Brujah gathered, and sitting on top of a taxi with her feet kind of dangling over the edge, singing sea shanties with some of her fellow clanmates, you find Jane, and you find yourself needing to present yourself to her.
Neil walks up to like the peripheral, like right at the edge of the crowd around this taxi, and sort of straightens himself up to his full height and puts a hand in the air and just kind of gives a lame little wave. And he goes, hi, I don't want to interrupt the song, but hi, Jane. I'm sorry, I'm here.
She stops singing, and it kind of dies down a bit, and she motions for you to come on over. Hi, Neil.
Hi, Jane. Hi. It's, hi. Sorry, I was talking to Johnny and everyone, and then I was looking around, but here you are. Hi.
I was wondering.
Okay.
As she brings this up, a number of the Brujah kind of like give you slightly derisive looks. It's not that they don't want you there, but it's more like these guys are all gathered around Jane because they all want Jane's attention. So for her to drop what she's doing and look at you, they're not overly thrilled. And she gestures to you and looks at the other Brujah, and she says, "This is Neil. He's a friend, and he knows about Khalif." And a couple of them are like, "Fucking what?" And they look at you and they're like, "What is Khalif real? Is it a thing? What is it?" And they start like badgering you about Khalif.
That's fucking great.
He like presses himself sort of with his back up against the taxi near Jane, like as close as he can get, not comfortable being sort of pressed in by a crowd of Brujah. He goes, "Yeah, it's yeah, of course it's real. Yeah, I had a lot. The Tremere took a bunch away, but Johnny actually got
Fuck the Tremere," one of them says, just interrupting you out of the blue. It's like a bunch of, fuck the Tremere.
Yeah, definitely fuck the Tremere, for sure. But yeah, I had it. I was cultivating my own for a while. I still have some left. I managed to save a bunch. I haven't really gotten a chance to get my feet back under me yet, but I was going to start, growing and cultivating a lot more. I used to do it myself, fed it with my own blood, so.
I kind of look between each other. Do you sell?
I usually use it for, like, ritual, but, I mean, if I had enough, I guess. So, I mean, I sort of sell, right? So, like, there's
Do you sell, one asks.
Not directly, but usually through intermediaries to the mortal populace. But, I mean, I have some. He, like, fumbles around in his pockets. I don't have a lot right now, but I've got some.
How much you got? One of them asks. Minor boon.
Oh,
I was like, yo, two minors.
Neil sort of pats around in his pockets. I mean, I don't have a ton left. Like, some is still cultivating. I only have this. And he pulls out one of those, like, gallon Ziploc bags out of one of the huge, stupid pockets in his pants that is, like, 3/4 full, like, stuffed.
Another one calls out, 2 minors, a trivial, and a fucking car. I'll get you a fucking car. Look around town, pick a car, I will get it.
I don't, do you guys know what Khalif does to you? I don't want to, like, sell to somebody who's not prepared for Khalif.
They kind of laugh. Jane hops down, and she's like, "Neil, everybody knows about Khalif.
They literally just
Because of
asked me if it's
Carthage.
real.
It was a thing. Maybe some feel it used to be a pretty big part of Brujah culture.
Oh,
We have a pretty big history with the Assamites in Carthage."
okay. Yeah, well, shit, I guess, Jane, I never did, like, thank you for bringing me, so, and he just kind of, like, pushes the bag towards Jane. So, if this is, like a special thing, like a ritualistic thing for the Brujah, I mean, that's, one time, thanks for having me at your party, guys, and he just hands the bag over to Jane.
The Brujah all kind of, at least those who are in the know, the curious. At this point, you kind of have the attention of the crowd, and their eyes all follow the bag. Jane gracefully accepts, and she reaches up and grabs you by the collar and pulls you down so you're not so tall for a moment, and she kisses you on the cheek.
Neil doesn't vanish from the mind's eye, mostly because he's
You're grappled, so
too grappled and stunned. Yeah. It's really not that. It's not a big deal. I like I said, I'm growing more now. Trying to cultivate a lot more. It takes time.
Neil, they just want to get high.
Oh, well then, yeah, we could get high. Let's do it. Yeah.
All right.
I don't have to warn you about the side effects because none of you are mortal. So,
Jane points inside. Let's get inside, find a spot. Let's get a room. One of the Brujah puts an arm around you and is like, hey, you think we could get into the VIP room? Smoke it up?
I'd have to... Neil almost says I'd have to check with Johnny. But I assume at this point, this is probably around the time that he and Britta are dancing. Oh,
You're not sure?
I don't know where he is.
Yeah.
I'd have to check with... And then he doesn't want to not look cool for like the first time in his life. And just goes, yeah, probably. Yeah, it's probably okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Johnny wouldn't mind. I'm sure it's fine.
At this point, you are dragged in by this throng of excitable Brujah, and they like pat you on the back, and they like give you like joking shoves, and they're just kind of having fun joking around, but it is a frightening and jostling experience.
Despite the fact that getting high and being weird is his wheelhouse, this is still deeply uncomfortable for Neil.
Yeah, it's very much like being surrounded by a dozen very big, very strong, excitable pit bulls who all want you to take them for a walk.
Okay.
You get to the VIP, and they go in, they're loud, people are throwing their boots up on couches, and they start readying a table. They get a bowl, they start closing off the space. One of them kind of starts fiddling with the fire alarm in the room.
That's probably a good idea. So are we just we're just doing this like normal, or do you guys have like a historical thing that you want to do here? Because I know that it really crosses like the whole...
Jane speaks up. What's like normal? How do you do this? Show us.
Oh.
She's like, come here. Come sit here. And she like brings you to the middle of the room.
Neil comes in the middle. Well, it depends. Sometimes I get mortals really high and I feed off of them, but with enough, you can do it on your own. Khalif's kind of special that way. And not knowing what else to do, because he doesn't get Khalif casual high. He literally only uses it for, like, magic purposes.
Sure, buddy.
That's what he does. Because this shit's hard to come by.
Magic is loosely defined here.
Yeah.
Neil basically starts setting up the room as if he was going to ascend the ladder of heaven. Just, there's, like, no bowl, there's no whatever. So just, like, getting everyone as into, like, the smoke as possible. Feeding... and, like, drinking blood. He, like, loosens his shirt a little bit, like, pulls the collar, just kind of gets tries to relax, and just goes, okay, so, as you take it all in, just let your mind go. So, the body itself is an impediment to, the transcendence of the mind. So... a lot of people work on the discipline of their bodies and sort of neglect how fragile their minds can be. So what you need to do is just relax. Don't think about the things that scare you. Don't think about the things that are dangerous. Think about the things that are pleasant, calming, pleasurable. Think about the things that you want. And then just live there. Don't try and transcend past the point where you are living with the ideas of the things that you want. And sort of unconsciously, Neil has this idea in his head ever since he found out Miles and Britta have been sort of broken by whatever happened in that chantry, that if he could help them not really ascend the ladder, because they're not a Shipu, but like if he can sort of Sherpa them up to self-actualization, he may be able to do something about the fractured parts of their minds. And I think, because Neil's humanity is not super high up there right now, and because he's not comfortable, I think he accidentally, sort of unconsciously starts going into a mode where he's sort of practicing, like leading this group of Brujah to some point along the ladder which is not really a thing that he can do, but sort of leading them on like a meditative journey with the intention of not actually reaching actualization, but just stopping at pleasure.
So there's a couple of Brujah that can't help but fuck around. They don't really have an off switch. But a lot of them, once you start getting like talking about spirituality and all of these concepts, they get pretty into it. And Jane even kind of swoons a little bit. And they start kind of taking turns talking about the things that make them happy. And for Jane, she says, bringing truth to power. That is what makes me happy. And some of the Brujah are like, fuck yeah. And they're like, what are there? And one of them's like, I like dogs. And they're like, yeah. And they're like all very encouraging as they kind of go over a very wide range of things that make them happy. And you start kind of getting this feel that the people you're interacting with are a lot more like diverse than one would assume when approaching a group of Brujah. But eventually, while the Caliph is cooking and the smoke is starting to kind of fill the room, it becomes your turn to answer.
Neil is quiet for an uncomfortably long amount of time and clearly needs... It's partly that he needs encouragement to talk, even in this scenario where he's central, and it's partly that he doesn't seem to grasp the idea. And he starts to just look, and goes, one of the last times I tried to do this, not the last time, but one of the... Anyway, I got here and it was just an empty room. I didn't know what I wanted. Now, I think the thing that makes me happy is having a purpose, having an outlet, having a family, having people around that help to ground me and define me, knowing my place in the world even as the world ends, knowing where I'm supposed to be in it. Certainty. That's the ideal. Those few moments of certainty. And knowing that you're cared about and that you're loved and that you're not only worthy because of the things you can do, but because you are who you are. And he doesn't know it, but he's absolutely crying a little bit when he says it. He just is not aware that he's crying.
You get a lot of like, yeah, man, yeah. A couple pat you on the back.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it. Right? Who's next? Is it somebody else goes after, or is this where we're at now? I lost count.
Jane laughs. She's like, there's no structure to this.
Oh, that's actually really deep.
She's like, yeah. High as hell.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, Tremere they see magic and things like trying to order the world and make it all
fuck the Tremere.
Fuck the Tremere.
The whole room kind of agrees.
Somewhere in the distance, Wynn yells, "Fuck the Tremere!"
I feel like Neil is probably like close to being pretty stone sober at this point. I feel like everybody else in the room is probably so...
Your tolerance is way high.
Yeah. Neil does not have a good stamina, but he does this shit all the
you're
time.
trying to realize they are fucked up.
I mean, like, how long have you been, like, cultivating Caliph?
30 years.
So, you are a 30-year veteran where you're, like, probably like, yeah, whatever, man. It's like, I've had a few joints. I'm feeling it a little. Whereas these guys hit it once and they're like...
It's fucking Caliph. Like,
fucking looking at the ceiling like, oh my god.
We're having your Snoop Dogg moment right here.
Yeah, the Tremere, they try and order everything to how they see order, and I always looked at it different, that there wasn't really a structure. It was your relationship with the world around you and the spirits of the world around you, right? That's what I was taught. It's different. You guys okay?
One of them looks at you and begins to speak Latin. And he says, I am well. Finally, I am me.
I'm sorry, I don't... Do I understand it even though I don't know Latin?
You think so? He didn't exactly go off into like a tangent or anything.
The Latin for those particular words is not terribly
not that hard.
difficult from
If you know
English.
any language, then you're... Okay. Good for you.
So you're like a Malkavian, right?
Yeah.
What's that like?
You see how this room that we're standing in right now is filled with people, maybe too many people. It's a little hot in here. It's a little smoky, a little hard to focus.
Yeah.
So imagine every single one of us in this room was a thought. And this room was the inside of your own mind. It's kind of like that.
So everyone's high?
Some people see it that way. Yeah. I don't know. It's just looking at the world a little bit different. You ever seen a Magic Eye picture at the mall?
I love Magic Eye.
Yeah. It's that. You know how some people can't see Magic Eye? But you can. And because you can see it, it's so frustrating trying to describe to somebody who can't see it how to see it.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's kind of like you can see it, but you can't describe to other people. You can describe what you see, but other people, they can't. It's hard to describe to people who can't see the Magic Eye how to see the Magic Eye. So you can tell them what the picture is, but if they just go, no, it isn't.
We're living in too many dimensions.
Kinda, yeah.
You are straight up starting a cult, my man. This is the beginning of a secret sect called the Fosterans, and it's a bad fucking time from here on out.
The Neolites.
I believe that time is like a flat circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a wheel. Everything that goes around comes back around, and we're all just at different stages, on different spokes of the same wheel.
I mean, if we're all on parts of the wheel, that means that everyone gets their turn to get ground into the road.
Yep.
I am Neil, by the way. Who are you?
Pete.
Pete, what's up, Pete?
So, but yeah, that's what I think. I think the end is coming, but I think that it's the end because we're on this side of the wheel. And the only reason we don't see it as the beginning is because we're not on the other side of it. And there's really no point in getting mad about it because what we stand to lose, a whole world stands to gain, man.
I mean, I've been doing a lot of reading, a lot of star watching recently. You like to star watch, Pete?
I love star watching.
Yeah, I've always been interested in the stars. I've always been interested in celestial bodies and things like that.
That's what makes me think of it, man. You saw the star.
Oh, yeah.
The new star.
I did, yeah.
Someone's like, what the fuck are you talking about, new star? And they look nervous, like, what, do I not know something?
It's kind of what I was talking about. When you see all the signs of something and you can name it, but you can't get people to look unless they can already know how to see the Magic Eye. And I don't think there's anything that I hear you saying, Pete, that I disagree with.
Jane, who has been curled up like a house cat on the floor listening to you guys talk, gets up and she puts a hand on your hand and she says, do you want to go on the roof?
Yeah, that's fine.
The room kind of lights up. Oh, let's go on the roof. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go look at the stars.
You and the small army of Brujah, who are very high, make your way to the rooftop to stargaze and discuss the universe, the meaning of life and unlife, while a rager goes on beneath you. And it is as you kind of make it onto the roof, you hear the sounds of something crash inside very loudly over the music. And there's this quick pause, followed a second or two by yeah! And for a moment, it seems like everything's all right. Miles, and you are listening to music that you hate more than most things. And stomping upstairs, you see a train of Brujah that are following Neil to the roof.
I have said that I'm going to be cool about everything today, and I made a promise to myself, and that's where we're at. I am here to support this rave and all the ridiculous shenanigans that might be happening around me.
You're at the bar, relaxing. You get the attention of a mortal here and there, but for a bit, it actually seems like a lot of the Brujah are avoiding talking to you. Some might want to pick at you a little bit, but might be a little too nervous because of your status. Some might want to talk to you, but are a little too nervous that you're kind of the man, quote unquote. But eventually, Amaya sits next to you.
Give her a nod.
A bit different from your board meetings.
Exceptionally so.
Exceptionally so.
Yes, well, it's not a lot of rules of order here that I can tell.
No. No Robert's Rules of Order here.
Nah, it's probably for the best.
I would agree. I got you something.
Oh?
Well, I understand it is the tradition of your clan to wear merit badges to represent accomplishments.
Yes, we wear pins.
She reaches into a pocket and she pulls out a simple pin. She holds it in her hand a moment and she's like, I want you to know that with this comes great power. And I need you to be responsible with it.
I am very responsible with most things.
She stands up and says, Your Grace, please stand.
I stand.
And she puts the pin on your shirt. And it says, I'm with Amaya. Now the Brujah will like you. They will respect you and they will want to spend their time with you.
It seems like it'll go a long way. How many of these pins do you have?
I got this one made just for you. Because you earned it.
I'm going to sound sarcastic, but I actually enjoy this.
You were going to sound sarcastic, she laughs.
I can't help it. It's part of the whole thing.
While you are talking to Amaya, there is a circle of Brujah, and there's one who stands in the middle, is wearing a blindfold, and in their hand is a, thumbtack of sorts, like a big, thumbtack.
Okay.
That has, a paper, tail.
Is it
attached to
pin the tail?
And he's like, I'm ready. And the other ones start spinning him around. And after he's been spun around enough, he blindly starts making his way into your general direction. And Maya says, don't worry, it's a game. Pin the tail on the prince. Very old anarch tradition.
Should I make this hard or not?
Wait, I hear him. One says. She shrugs. That's up to you. Usually we play this on Elysium. I think your options are a bit wider here.
Well, I don't think I'm going to let any random person do it.
So who are you going to let do it, Miles?
No, those that are worth it.
Okay. As he gets close to you, she kind of heads over and gives him another spin, and he starts shit. Starts trying to resaddle himself, and she turns back to you. Okay. Let's play a game.
All right.
Okay.
There he is. Everybody shut up.
Everybody quiet down. I heard him. Maya says, Your Grace, who gets to pin you?
He gives her a big smile. Well, definitely not the man holding the pin right now.
He freezes.
Yes, I can see you.
He twitches again. This time starts creeping towards you more centered.
I am going to turn on, for now, personal armor.
Okay.
He's not worthy, he says, looking directly at Amaya.
She kind of raises her hands. Well, I already pinned you, so
that's fair.
We have that answer. So who else?
I don't know. Find me someone.
At someone, you feel a thumb firmly pressed at the side of your ass. And he goes, Got him! And as he stands straight, pulls the blindfold off, the thumbtack falls to the ground, crushed.
I don't think you do, sir.
What the fuck?
Better luck next time.
Some of the Brujahs start laughing. Teflon Prince.
Literal buns of steel.
I will raise my arms up to Teflon Prince.
Miles like, I approve of that one.
There's a rumor going around that you're trying to raise an army.
Trying to defend my home.
She looks at you, and she's like, I have a question. A real one.
All right.
Pat, fuck off. And she shoves the Brujah that had the blindfold on away as he tries to restart the game. She's like, no, you're done. You had your chance. I heard what's coming. And we don't have the numbers to beat that. So why are we doing this?
Because numbers aren't everything. And it is my home. And I will keep it.
I'm going to say something, and it's not an attempt at undermining you or any of that, but you're out of Brujah Rave, and real talk is just kind of a thing we do here.
Appreciate it.
I come from a clan that's lost a lot of things we loved because of pride. If you are asking our clan to lose more, pride can't be the reason. And I'm not saying you need to have an answer right this second, but tonight, there's going to be a talk. And we're going to want to know why we should die fighting the Sabbat. And because it's my home, isn't going to cut it. So why are we doing this?
Well, it doesn't help that the Sabbat are here, but there is a plan.
You know they do that every time?
What?
Every time the Sabbat plans on taking down a city, one of the first things they do is show up and introduce themselves to the anarchs and promise revenge and all kinds of power to be free how they were meant to be free. It always starts with an open hand. And I'm going to be honest with you, Miles. They do it because it gets results.
The Camarilla's approach is typically not great.
What about you?
I'm willing to work with people.
Tell me what that looks like.
I don't see a reason we can't coexist. There are people who are going to believe in your ideals much stronger than the Camarilla, and all they'll do is make trouble for us. They don't want to live in the structure that we have.
She sits back. A couple of the other Brujah at the bar, one of which is literally bartending, lean against the bar and look at you. All right. When this is done, what's ours? Where do we coexist?
Where do they exist now? Mostly East Haven?
Yeah, they kind of float around. They don't really have an official space. That was never something Upton Rollins was really interested in.
And talking about, right? I've got two thoughts for you. You guys can either take East Haven and whatever interests you past the river, or I can do what I can to help you and you can have Middletown.
She raises an eyebrow at that, intrigued and not having quite expected that kind of an offer. That actually sounds pretty good. Okay, I'm going to level with you. There are some things that I know that I think you should know.
All right.
Carmen, Alessandra, and Doctus of the Killing Spree.
I'm aware.
She approached me, and she said that New York and their control of New York and Bridgeport means that they don't actually feel that they really need to hold New Haven. So as a means of convincing us, they offered to leave it empty and give it to us, provided we stand aside.
Well, that's kind of odd, since we spied on one of her meetings and she was promising an archbishop of New Haven.
An archbishop?
Yeah.
Who was she promising?
Unfortunately, somebody riding a ghoul suit.
So, I don't trust the Sabbat, obviously, and I'd rather work with you. But I need to make sure that what few anarchs are left aren't going to betray me for what they think is a better offer. So I think Middletown is good. Now, there's another part that you need to know.
All right.
There's a follower of Set by the name of Nofret.
Familiar.
They offered this to the followers of Set. And what they want from the followers of Set is to eliminate anarchs that choose to side with the Camarilla. And they're offering East Haven. As far as I know, The followers of Set have taken the deal.
They want to meet with me also. I don't know if this is to humiliate me or whatnot, but I do have to meet with them.
I don't think you should do it.
I owe them that, unfortunately.
Can you send someone else instead?
It is a personal debt, and I don't think they'll take anyone. Me and Nofrit have a history.
She looks a little concerned at that.
We've not liked each other for a long time.
Setite's corrupt. If they get into your head, they can be bad, Miles.
I've had some experience with that. We're going to take some precautions. But I can't go back on my word. It's one of the few things that I won't.
Okay.
But I do appreciate the concern.
One more question.
Shoot.
That painting,
Yeah.
is it real?
It might be. But I guess the question is, why do you want to know?
I don't back the Setites because they're evil fucks. I need to know that you are not morally compromised. A single slip is the first step to a big fall.
True. But people slip all the time. It doesn't mean they fall.
I disagree.
You think
Not on that level.
I have 12 elder princes now existing in my domain that I knew were coming from all along the East Coast. I had an erratic, crazy prince.
He oppressed us too, Miles.
I understand. Part of the reason that he needed to be removed is that he was working with the Setites against everyone, but also against you.
Oh, okay. No. Miles, you don't need to justify that. That motherfucker needed to go.
Yeah.
We heard about what he did to Britta and how he treated people, his own people. Fuck him. He needed to die. I'm asking if you had crossed the line into true evil.
I had to become a shield.
Yes or no?
I thought that was the answer.
It's not.
Miles looks away, considers the glass he's holding back at the bar. Not really doing anything with it, mostly appearances. But then he looks back at her. Yes.
Her eyes become downcast for a moment. I appreciate your honesty. No, seriously, she kind of grabs your arm. I appreciate it.
I'm just afraid of what it will cost. But it has to. It is what it is.
Well, I'll tell you this. For that, the cost is always too much.
I know.
She gives you a hug like you're this sad broken thing. We'll keep in touch. I'll be talking to my people.
Talk to you soon.
And you can keep the pin.
Fantastic.
She slips off. Britta, you finally find what can't be quite described as a quiet moment, but one to yourself. And you've made your way into a throng of dancing, inebriated mortals. The senses that you've developed over the past year remind you that the sweet scents you pick up are more that of meals than peers or really even people anymore. And in this time, what do? What's on your mind?
After finishing her dance with Johnny, Britta has kept in mind why she came here. But also in defiance of everything, the end of the world, the feelings that this place evokes in her, the reminder that this club means to her. She's also here managing to have fun and let loose because that is essential to the strategy. First move is to dance alone and dance sexy, to establish confidence, sexuality, sensuality, desire. She's phenomenally beautiful, and she moves gracefully, but I'm not imagining that dancing alone will last long, not in this kind of circumstance. After that, she'll start making sure that the party's roaring, people are having fun, that people want to be around her, around the coterie, around allies of the coterie. Allies, she hopes to lure them onto the floor. Even enemies. Maybe not quite enemies, that's a bit dramatic, but offering a sense of unspoken forgiveness. Those that were kind of Shaw's peons, if they approach her respectfully for a dance, they can get put on the metaphorical card. Her movements are smooth and seductive, but she's establishing a boundary about still, like, how people can dance with her, what kind of touch she'll allow. Basically to keep it alluring but out of reach, to connect with individuals and boost the reputations of the coterie, incline people positively towards their intentions, and take a temperature on what's going on.
As you dance and enjoy your surroundings, you feel a poke at your hip from a small, delicate finger. And when you turn, wearing some of your clothing and dancing with you is a young teen with bright eyes and raven-like black hair. And immediately, you recognize her as someone who's not supposed to be out tonight. And in the distance over at the bar, with an immensely nervous expression, is one of the ghouls who serve Miles. She gives a little wave.
What is her expression?
She looks like a 14-year-old girl who snuck into a crazy nightclub.
Like, does she look like excited, guilty? Like, where is she at? Mischievous?
Yes.
I mean, Britta's first reaction is stress. She turns, recognizes her, has almost a little bit of a double take, and then pulls her in for a hug, almost as if she's trying to pull her closer to pull her away from the crowd.
Eden hugs you back. I did it. I made him listen to me.
Making sure to whisper into Eden's ear, Britta says, "You know that this is a really bad place for you."
But you're here. All of you. It's fine. She, holds her hand up and, twirls under your hand like you're spinning her.
Britta lets her, but starts guiding her back towards the ghoul. "If anyone asks, you're my ghoul, okay? But I don't want you to talk to anyone, not to anyone like me. The coterie, that's fine, but..."
Johnny comes stepping over. Looks like he's kind of intrigued at why one of Miles' ghouls happens to be at the rave. And as he goes to point and ask him a question, notices the two of you. Hey there. You look like you're a little bit too young to be in the club here.
When you got the ghoul to listen to you, did you make eye contact and tell him what you wanted?
She nods.
Okay.
I've tried it before, but it wouldn't work. But this time I got him.
How exactly did you get in?
I told them to let me in.
You told the big guy at the front. Johnny kind of motions and points over where Tiny is.
Oh, no, I hid from him. She admits. She points at, way off one of the, people serving drinks. Them. They were smoking outside.
All right. And what's your plan now that you're here?
She kind of, grabs Britta's hand, intertwining her little fingers with hers, and was like, I am going to enjoy being a vampire. I've been cooped up. I've been really good. I feel healthy, and she jumps up and down a moment. I need to get out.
Eden, you've been really good.
Johnny puts up a hand to kind of stop Britta from going any further. If anyone asks you who you are, what are you going to tell them?
I'm Britta's ghoul.
Johnny kind of frowns at that a little bit. I thought you want to come out here to be a vampire.
That's what Britta told me to do.
Yeah, that's my fault, yes.
Better yet, if anyone asks who you are, you say you're close personal friends with Johnny Saxon the Seneschal, and to fuck off. Is that understood?
Yes.
Britta closes her eyes and nods. She's kind of trying to press at her temples without disturbing her makeup, but...
Johnny gives her the hardest, death stare he can. If you're gonna be a little rebel and sneak into clubs, then you better not fuck it up. Understood?
She looks mortified at Johnny, and despite the pulsing bass, you can hear her gulp. Yes, sir.
His expression cracks into a big wolfish grin, and he kind of nods at her. All right, then I expect everything's gonna be cool.
Can we at least have...
He flashes a very worried glance at Britta.
Britta is not ready to simmer down, and she continues to say, can we at least have the ghoul watching her, or...
Oh yeah. He looks over at the ghoul. Oh yeah, you're making sure that she didn't get in any trouble.
And kind of his lips thin, and he gives this a solemn nod, knowing that he fucked up, but maybe doesn't totally understand how he got here.
Eden, please.
I'm pretty sure Miles takes arms for bullshit like this.
Eden, please let him watch you, okay? Please don't mess with him anymore like that. I get it, and I don't want to be upset with you, but I'm just... Please let us help, even if I know you want to be here.
The ghoul looks like a ghost when it is mentioned to him that Miles takes arms. Eden is a little more carefree when concern of consequences is brought up. And she hugs Britta. Don't worry. I'll be subtle.
Britta looks down at Eden, and in a protective motion, she makes sure that, almost like an older sister, making sure the clothes are sitting right, that's stolen out the closet, kind of smoothing it down and, setting it straight.
I'll put it back, I promise.
No, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Please be safe.
Okay.
Remember what Johnny said, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if anything happens, come back to this VIP area. Anything at all, okay? If anyone tries to have an extended conversation or just... I feel like you get it.
Okay. 5 by 5. She just slips off.
555?
All right. Aside from the troubling development that we now have that little one running around this place.
Should we just get someone to take her back, or... I don't feel like we should, because then she's not allowed to go places, but...
To be perfectly honest, I think I'm more comfortable having an eye on her. And she's gonna have to learn some survival techniques sooner or later. So as much as I hate to admit it, I think this is probably a good thing. Put some trust in her, and we'll make sure nothing happens.
It's not really her I don't trust, it's more the people around her.
That's the fucking world.
Are things going at least well on your end?
No, this place is a fucking shit show. I'm pretty sure that we've already had several fights just barely avoid turning into riots.
Is anyone torpid or anything?
Not yet.
Are you sure?
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
How are you thinking? What's the temperature like here?
What was it like when I was on the dance floor?
In a word, volatile. Things would be very fun, exciting. People are shouting hilarious things, sometimes weird inside jokes. And then someone bumps into someone the wrong way. Everything gets super heated for a moment. And then they're either taken away, walk away on their own, what have you, and everything dies down. And the cycle begins anew. And this cycle is like every 10 minutes or so.
Johnny, everyone is looking for a fight. It didn't take any provocation. I felt like when I was dancing, I found myself counting the seconds of how long I was making eye contact with one person and another because I thought that might cause an issue.
Okay.
And it's just, so far, people are walking away, but the energy's really, really high.
That's good news.
It's kind of good news, but it feels like it could get worse.
Yeah, that's a rave for you. Always feels like it could get worse. And it usually does. So since it hasn't yet, I'll take that as a sign. Let's try and round up the rest of the coterie. I want to have a little powwow before we start getting things underway on the rooftop.
I'll go find Miles.
You seen Neil anywhere?
I don't really want to talk to him right now.
He kind of gives you a quizzical look. You don't want to talk to Neil right now?
I mean, I can talk to him. It's not like a big, grudge or that kind of thing. It just feels like he's yelling at me a lot.
Well, he's been through some shit. Don't forget that.
I know, but that isn't really fair, because I've been through a lot too.
Yeah, but I think his beast is starting to win that fight, if you catch my drift.
What does that even mean, okay? Because, honestly, he wasn't there when we were fighting the dragon, and he showed up at the end of the things I was going through. And I know he's been through his own things. I'm not trying to devalue that, but why do I have to treat him gently like that, then?
You know, you don't have to treat him gently.
It just sounds like I should be keeping in mind that he's not okay, and I'm not okay either.
Well, fucking call him out for it. Don't be gentle. Don't ignore it. Just go ahead and go in on it. Not talking to him never solved anything.
Britta kind of casts her eyes down and gives a couple nods.
If you got issue with him, get in his face and talk to him about it.
I know we're at a Brujah Rave, but I already feel out of place enough without trying that.
Alright.
I'll pick that fight later. Right now, I feel like we should try to be as united as we can.
That's probably a better point than the one I was making.
I don't know about that, but maybe you find Neil for now and I'll round up the others.
By the way, does it smell like weed in here?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much the main smell at this point.
I think I have an idea where I could find Neil. You see if you can get the others. Let's do a quick powwow like I was saying.
Alright.
I'm gonna go check the roof.
Path of Night is a Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. Britta Ashcroft the Toreador was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Brujah was played by Garrett Gabbey. Miles Davenport the Venture was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynne Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erica Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was composed for Path of Night by Brian Matolius. Find him online at brianmatolius.com. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness are owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We can be found on YouTube at youtube.com/@pathofnight. You can help support the show on coffee.com/pathofnight. Find us on twitter.com/pathofnightpod, on facebook.com/pathofnightpodcasts, or email us at pathofnightpodcasts@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred.
Does Rebecca know what PHAT means?
Yeah, I think. Cool.
Okay.
Right?
Pretty hot and tempting.
Whoa, okay.
Fuck you guys did that in unison.
No prep.
That's it. We can call a game right there, guys.
We won Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah.
That's the chronicle.
That's it.
Call it.
Yeah, this is the Goblin Quadrant weighing in.
It's one of the secret victory conditions for Vampire the Masquerade is if you and another player accidentally say fat at the same time.
And explain it. Yep.
So,
Crack the code.